I was moving the robot arm very slowly, since the Z1 truss weighs about 18,000 pounds.
And Koichi nails it. Another piece perfectly in place.
Everybody was cheering me, and somebody was saying, "You are the man," and that was a great moment.
You should have a 50mm camera. Okay, I've got a camera with a 50mm socket.
Leroy Chow and Bill MacArthur, known as Billy Mac, get ready for the first spacewalk.
3/8 ratchet drive with a 2-inch extension arm.
In their suits, they can survive up to 8 hours in temperatures of plus to minus 250 degrees. In conditions like that, you gotta keep your sense of humor. These guys are huge fans of Austin Powers. The commander gives Leroy and Billy Mac their send-off in the airlock before they move outside. The second team, Jeff Weissoff and Mike Lopez Alegria, known as LA, seal off the inside hatch behind them. Their number one task is to deploy the next piece, the station's communications antenna.
How cool is this?
They push it manually into place. The all-important telephone is in. Now, the wiring. These cables are being laid out for another crew to connect on a later flight. They'll provide power to the science lab when it arrives.
You guys, the World Series, Super Bowl, ha! They don't know what pressure is.
Every day, I operated the robotic arm to help by putting one spacewalker at the tip of the robot arm to move him to the location that he needs to do spacewalk activities.
Leroy's going to install this toolbox for future crews to use. Inside is an array of special tools any home improvement fan would envy.
Hey, Mike, there's no problem maintaining a death grip on the handrails. It's a strange feeling. My toes are curling right up. All right.
You always want to be sure you're securely anchored. But if you did come unhooked, here's a device that could save your life. It's a personal jetpack called Safer. It's also very cool. It fits on your back and could power you back to safety. We saw it put to the test in the virtual reality lab.
Go ahead and power to test.
Now we're going to try it out for real. Jeff is riding on the arm, watching, in case anything goes wrong. LA, flying on the right, is now powered by his jetpack. Just in case, he's attached by a thin wire. But he didn't need it after all. The test is a great success. Discovery pulls away, leaving the space station in orbit. So far, all the pieces have connected without a hitch. At the top is Zvezda. That's where the crews will live. Below it is Zarya, kind of a big float-through closet for storage. And at the bottom, the truss and the Unity node, where the next additions will be attached. The station's now ready for people. We're in Kazakhstan, at the Russian spaceport. Yuri Gagarin, the very first man in space, launched from here. 40 years later, This crew is getting ready to live on the space station. Two are Russian cosmonauts, Yuri Gidzenko and Sergei Krikalev. The crew's commander is an American, Bill Shepard, known as Shep. His wife, Beth, is the astronaut fitness trainer.
I was fortunate in that I was there in the capacity of his strength and conditioning coach, whereas the Russian families were not able to come at all. They stayed in Star City.
In the glare of the world's press, it isn't easy to find a few last quiet moments alone together.
This is the walkway they begin after the first cosmonaut flew. Everybody that flew has a tree here. Gagarin's tree would be 40 years old.
When Shep and I were walking down that row of trees, which is very historic, it was just hard for me to believe that we were finally here at this place, because he had worked so hard, we had worked so hard for him to be there, and for us to finally be there together, to think about, you know, the people that had come and gone, and to know that this person next to me, my husband, was going to be a part of that history. And that was a very special time for us.
Shep and his crew will be gone in space for over 4 months.
The International Space Station is a way for us to learn how we can go to other planets and explore other ways to live outside Earth. I think that's really exciting. I wanted to go too.
To station aboard a Soyuz rocket, the workhorse of the Russian space program. An unbelievable 406 launches have gone from this pad.
Very unexpected for me, being out on the launch pad, very foggy day, having several hundred people right at the base of the rocket, which for an American launch would be very unusual and unheard of. Being able to have such close contact with friends and family who are right there, right in the middle of this final moments before you're ready to go fly was really exciting, really special.
After everything we went through, seeing your face on launch day made it all worth it.
Let's go do it.
He was so happy.
Get those shuttles ready.
Imagine 3 guys in their gear inside a capsule the size of a Volkswagen Beetle, and it's a 2-day trip.
The biggest risk is just getting out of the Earth's atmosphere to a safe orbit. Once you're at the end of the powered flight and you're floating around in orbit, then you can sit back and say, boy, I'm glad that we have gotten that done successfully. Sitting in your couch with your knees bent up almost to your chin for hours at a time, it's pretty uncomfortable. But the Soyuz is very reliable. It's got a lot of capability to get you up into space and get you back on a bad day.
The house will be dark when they arrive. They can't be sure what lies in wait for them. Their job is to open everything up for the first time, then get it all working. Be prepared for the unexpected. They're set to go. But after 2 days in a capsule with your knees in your chin, you've got a few other priorities.